welcome to the new work week or school week or whatever your week may be. Or may it be mythical.
If you just lay around and do nothing, welcome to that week, doing nothing. Doesn't matter.
I had a good weekend. I spent some quality time not only with my kids, but with Rhett's kids, because my wife and I graciously took them in so that they could be in a positive environment for a few hours. Now we'll free you up to date your wife, and then we can exchange, and then you keep my kids, and I will be freed up to date my wife. That's the arrangement that we have here, and no money changes hands. That's the beauty of it.
That's the key. That's really the key there, is that A, our kids like being together.
Mm-hmm.
B, I don't pay you to babysit my kids. You don't pay me to babysit your kids.
It's wonderful.
And you know what? I didn't even pay for my date because we had a gift card.
Oh, yeah.
I like to take my wife to romantic places. I like to take her to places where the food is really good and they're like, maybe there's like really good Yelp reviews.
Would you consider yourself a foodie?
Would consider myself a foodie. Kinda. Like a foodie junior.
Because a gift card overrides you just going where foodies go.
Well, sometimes,
is what you're saying.
I mean, we're in Los Angeles, lots of good places to eat, but sometimes you just gotta take the gift card that your mom and daddy got you for Christmas, and you gotta go to the Cheesecake Factory. I'm not above that.
There's no shame in that. I mean,
it's good.
You watch TMZ, you see stars coming out of the Cheesecake Factory all the time. Not that I ever watch TMZ, but if I do, I definitely want to know what they ordered at the Cheesecake Factory. And your mom, for Christmas, gave me and Christy a gift card to guess where? The Cheesecake Factory. So we also went, but I didn't go on a date. I think we split it in half. So we're gonna get 2 Cheesecake Factory visits out of your mom's gift card. We went once and we split an entree because they're big, and then we went back with our kids, which is crazy. I wouldn't recommend that to anybody. If you have 3 children, go to the Cheesecake Factory on like a Friday night. But you went kidless. You could concentrate on your relationship.
Yeah, I mean, it was a nice dinner. We sat outside at the heated patio, and
the menus.
The menu is very large. There's a lot of advertisements in it.
Yeah, it seems like you should get a discount because of all the advertisements in the menu. It's freaking spiral bound.
I don't think you get a discount.
But you should.
But we're not here to talk about the Cheesecake Factory. We're here to talk about what happened at the Cheesecake Factory, because there was a big misunderstanding at the Cheesecake Factory involving me and my waiter.
Awkward. It was an operative word.
Okay, so I ordered something kind of pasta with garlic. Now, first of all, it did take a very long time for me to figure out what I wanted. And the waiter came back like 3 or 4 times, and I was like, I don't know what I want. I'm usually not that guy. I'm usually, just give me something. I'll eat anything.
It's difficult. It's difficult to
But
decide.
I was stressing out over it, and my wife said, well, what do you feel like? Just first she said, he's good at things like this. She's like, close the menu, because they have everything. What do you feel like eating right now? I was like,
Did she say, and then close the menu and then place it on your forehead, or
no? It wasn't like a telekinesis. Right? It was just
you didn't move it without touching.
She wanted me to separate myself from the intimidation of the multi-layered menu.
So what did you feel?
And it hit me. It was clear as day at night at the Cheesecake Factory. Something creamy.
Okay, I've been there.
Something creamy.
Sometimes you want something light.
I wanted something creamy, something heavy, something with some pasta.
We're talking Alfredo type situation.
So I went with this, I don't know, it was some kind of pasta in a creamy garlic sauce. Okay, it was good. It stayed with me for several days.
I can vouch for that.
But it was incredible. Now, I ordered this pasta, and my waiter comes to me. He actually, they do a lot of handoffs there. So it was like I had one waitress, and then the waiter comes up and gives me the food, and as he's giving me the food, I haven't seen this guy yet at all. Mm-hmm. He comes up and he's like, would you like Parmesan with that? And I was like, now first of all, it's kind of loud out there. It's loud. We're on the patio. We're at the Americana in Glendale. There's lots of people walking by. It's kind of hard to hear, but
it's like eating in a club or a theme park.
Just not nearly as cool. But there was this, as a clue. It's cooler than a theme park. Depends on where you're at. So he says, would you like Parmesan with that? And I say, yes. And then he kind of leans in a little bit closer. First of all, he does not give me any Parmesan. But I don't know. I don't even know if he had it on him. But he just said, I thought he was like gonna go get it. You know. I was like, yeah. And then he leans in and he's like, where'd you get your jacket at? Now I'm wearing this jacket. I was wearing this jacket. Now this is, you know, I mean, it's a good looking jacket, I guess. But it's not a jacket that really should start a conversation, you know?
No.
It's just a gray jacket that fits well. That's all. With a zipper.
And you were thinking this.
It does have a zipper right here, though.
You were quite a vertical breast pocket zipper.
It's like a passport zipper. But it really shouldn't start a conversation.
Why is that like a passport zipper?
Because this is, if I had a passport.
It's roughly the same height as a passport?
I don't think a passport would fit in here. Listen.
Did you think about that when the waiter asked? Well, it has a passport zipper.
I thought, why is he asking me about my jacket? But the interesting thing is directly over his shoulder, I could actually see it from the patio, was the H&M.
Where you purchased the jacket.
Where I got the jacket on a different occasion.
Yeah.
So I pointed over his shoulder and I said, H&M. And he got a very confused look on his face. And he was like, what? I said, H&M. And then he sheepishly went and walked away.
He looked away and then walked away.
Looked away awkwardly and never came back with Parmesan cheese, okay?
He backed away slowly.
Later, another person, my initial waitress, who's been like asking me all kinds of questions, she comes up and she says, did someone come and ask you if you wanted Parmesan with that? I said, yeah, and I think I told him yes, but he never brought it. And she said, okay, well, I'll take care of that. I was 70% done with my meal at that point, but she went ahead and finished up the last 30%. I enjoyed it. It was even better with Parmesan.
And she asked about your jacket.
She said nothing about the jacket.
And then, okay, so Rhett comes the next morning, comes to my house to pick up his kids and tells me the story that he just told you. Wow, this is weird. And then I'm like, okay, Rhett, can you tell me again? I'm kind of like playing like a judge. Rhett, can you tell me again for the record?
Or a lawyer.
Yeah.
The judges usually
that's
don't
true.
ask those questions. But okay.
I can be judge and a lawyer. What up? I'm both. Like a lawyer, I said, Rhett, can you repeat to me your initial response to the waiter when asked if you would like Parmesan?
Yes? Yes. That's what I said.
Okay, and then what did he ask? I think this is the question that's the lawyer. What was the waiter's initial question?
Would you like Parmesan with that?
And then you said yes, and then what was his follow-up question?
Where'd you get your jacket?
And if you were to say his follow-up question with a little more speed and a little more mumbling, could you do that for me?
Would you like Parmesan with that? Where'd you get your jacket at? Where'd you get your jacket at? Would you like Parmesan? And then
suppose that he was asking the same question again.
And that's exactly what happened. Ladies and gentlemen, here's what happened.
It dawned on you the next morning.
What happened was the guy came up to me and he said, would you like Parmesan with that? I looked up at him and I said something he couldn't hear. It looked like I asked a question. What? Even though I said yes, maybe he thought I said yes, like what did you just say?
Like yes, yes, what would you like?
And then he asked me again, would you like Parmesan with that? I heard, where'd you get your jacket at?
And you said
H&M. What? H&M. So in his mind, he said,
would you like Parmesan with that?
Yes.
Would you like Parmesan with that?
H&M. H&M. So
what could he have been thinking at that moment?
I think he was thinking like, well, that's why he kind of backed away slowly. He never came back.
He's thinking, I'm out of this. I'm out of this conversation. I don't know what to say.
Either he was thinking that, oh, they got plenty of Parmesan cheese at H&M and I've already been there, so don't worry about me. Or I work at H&M and they don't allow Parmesan cheese.
Or maybe he was saying, just go to H&M and get some Parmesan.
No, he was thinking,
get it from over there.
Yeah, I'm going to H&M later, and you know about the Parmesan machine they have there.
H&M. Don't worry about it.
For all I know,
got it covered.
For all I know, the guy got fired
Because the person came back later and said, "Where's your Parmesan?"
And I was like, well, he asked me if I wanted it. I said yes, and then he never came back.
He's still over at H&M looking for it.
And then the manager was probably told. The manager came to my waiter, the Parmesan man, and said, listen, the guy out there in the gray jacket, you know, the one that looks like he got it from H&M, he asked you, he told you he wanted some Parmesan. And then he says, yeah, I asked him if he wanted Parmesan, and he said H&M. And I didn't know what that meant.
Yeah, now
Heavy and more.
You know, at some point the guy made the decision. I'm not gonna say, listen, I don't understand what you mean by H&M. All I want to do is give you Parmesan. You know, he could have said that to you, but instead he backed away. But you know, I feel his pain. You know, I probably would have done the same thing. This guy's weird. I'm out of here. If he wants Parmesan, he's gonna have to get it himself at this point.
Well, at least it was.
I don't fault the guy.
At least it was a minor misunderstanding. We're talking about jackets, Parmesan. We're not talking about like accidentally nuking a country or something. This is not some big decision. This is just, you know, a
simple misunderstanding. And you know, you got Parmesan eventually. Everyone's happy.